Thank you for joining me for day 11 of my 365 days of craft videos. Today I am going to show you how to make these adorable little Halloween hair clips. They are super easy and they're perfect for your little girl. So what you will need for this project is some craft felt. This is the kind of felt that you buy by the yard. I like this better. It's a little thicker than the kind you buy by the square. You are going to need some fabric paint. You are going to need an indelible marker or some chalk pencil. You're going to need the templates that I'll show you how to make. You're going to need a stencil brush and some painter's tape and some epoxy glue and also some regular craft glue. So what I did to draw the templates for my hair clips is I took one of the hair clips and I set it on a piece of cardboard and I traced it out. You have to kind of push it down to trace all the way around. And then I just kind of freehanded the shape that I wanted. This is the ghost, and this is the candy corn. And that's all you need to do to make your template. So to make the felt ready for the candy corn hair clips, I'm going to take painter's tape and make strips along the white felt. And I did the yellow first, and then once that dries, you can just take it off. Then I'm just going to reuse this end of the tape. I'm going to line it up with the yellow. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the same thing with some orange paint. So once you cover up the yellow part with your painter's tape, you're going to take a stencil brush and you're going to do the same thing with the orange. Just dab it. Now on a real candy corn, you know the orange is always the larger portion. So I'm going to go ahead and go almost all the way to the end here. So once you're finished and it's completely dry, you're going to go ahead and lift off the tape, and then you have your candy corn fabric. So what I'm going to do for my candy corn is I can see where the orange and the yellow are, and you know on a typical candy corn the white is the smallest part, so I'm going to place it so that I have a little bit of white and then the yellow and the orange. I'm going to do it down at the end here so that I can make a lot out of this. I'm going to use a marker. You can use a chalk fabric pen as well. And I'm just going to draw around it, trace it out. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. So then when you have it completely cut out, you have your little candy corn. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make the backing for my candy corn. So to make the backing, all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece that's 1 inch from the bottom. I'm going to line it up there. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing that I did with the other. I'm just going to trace it out. And then I'm going to go ahead and just cut that out. So then once you've cut out your backing, make sure that they line up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a small bead of craft glue just around the edge of the backing. You want to leave room for the clip to go in, and that's why you're doing the edge. And I'm going to attach that on. So you're going to go ahead and clean off any extra glue that you have there. And then once it's dry, you can go back and trim the edges if you have any overlap there. So I'm going to let that completely dry, and then I'll show you how to attach the clip. Okay, so then to attach the felt part to the barrette, I like to use a piece of freezer paper. Put a little epoxy on that. So then what you're going to do is you're going to hold the barrette by the small part, open it up, take some of the epoxy, just a little bit, and you're just going to kind of smear it on to the whole front of the barrette. It doesn't have to be real thick. And the reason I'm using epoxy is because we're attaching this to metal, and the craft glue, it just doesn't stay as well. So I'm going to use a little epoxy. Make sure that you have a well-ventilated area. And I'm going to put a little bit on the back, about 1 inch down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide the candy corn on, turn it around, and you want to slide it all the way up, and then you want to just press it down securely, and then go ahead and close it, and then you're just going to let that dry until the epoxy sets. So here I've made a couple of ghost barrettes as well, and I've just used the same technique using a different template. Thank you so much for joining me for day 11 of my 365 days of crafting videos. I hope you've had a lot of fun with this project. I know that I have, and I hope you make a lot of little clips and barrettes for your little girl. And thank you so much again for joining me, and until tomorrow, happy crafting!